Hi everybody, Jillian here. Thanks for joining me for another process video. Today, instead of starting with a story or a photo like normal, I decided to start with a product. Since my silhouette and I are on speaking terms again, I decided to take some papers from Dear Lizzy's documentary collection and cut a bunch of leaves out of them. I don't recommend throwing your die cuts around because it makes a huge mess. So today I'm going to be scrapbooking a couple of photos that were taken over the summer at my dad's 60th birthday party. Let's get started. I pulled 4 pieces of pattern paper that I thought would look good as a background, and in an effort to try and figure out which one I want to use, I'm layering the leaves behind the photos to see which look best against which piece of pattern paper. I decided to go with this wood grain, which isn't like me. I don't usually use wood grain papers, especially when I love the reverse, which is this really colorful ampersand. So I decided to use this one. I thought it provided the best contrast, and it looked like just really autumnal and beautiful. So what I decided to do is leave the branding strip on the bottom, and so I accounted for that 1/2 inch by taking a 1/2 inch off the top of the paper. So then I decide that I want to mat the photos onto some more paper. So I'm just going through the collection here to see what would be a good match, and I'm going to use the same means to determine which paper to use just by layering the image on top and then seeing which leaves look best. And so I decided to go with the scrap that I had used for the leaves. I was inspired by Wilna Furstenberg's Wednesdays with Wilna videos. She's been featuring some leaf cut files that are in her shop. These are not them. These are older. They're from, I want to say, like last year. But I love watching her videos, and she made some really pretty things, and so it inspired me to get my silhouette out and to try and kind of replicate some things. So what I did was I took some of the scraps that I had from this collection that were the most colorful, and especially the black and white one. I love the contrast on the leaf. And so I just pulled those out and cut the leaves from them. I live in the subtropics, and we don't have seasons down here. Well, just flu and hurricane. So I really don't have any pages like this in my album, and I really like that it's different. And so there, I'm just trying to figure out the placement of my photos. Having looked through my albums recently, I noticed that things like my photos are usually off to the right or off to the left using the rule of thirds. So if you've watched my channel, you may have observed that I've been using a lot of center-oriented layouts, and it's for that reason. It's just to kind of mix things up in my albums. So what I'm doing is lightly adhering the leaves down onto the background because I'm going to move them around and layer them. And I'm trying to be careful to not put 2 patterns right on top of each other because I want to have that contrast. So in the end, it's going to look like, someone just placed their photos gingerly on a pile of leaves, as one does. So next, I want to start thinking about my title. I really didn't have anything in mind for this layout, so I pulled out some Amy Tangerine thickers and then some other ones just to kind of figure that out before I moved any further. So from the documentary sticker sheet, I saw this word priorities. It's in gold foil in this really pretty like brush script. And I knew originally when I got this collection that I wanted to use this in more of a tongue-in-cheek way. So I didn't even second guess this. I said, this is really pretty, it looks different, so in an effort to keep mixing things up in my albums, I decided to go with this. So putting it on some foam so that it has some more dimension on the page, and then I'm going to leave the backing on those foam dots so that I can move it around. But that is really where it's going to stay on this layout. And then what I do is I go ahead and get the leaves, put some more leaves on there, and then get them adhered down. I'm going to pull up the edges to create some more dimension, but what I end up doing in the end is just strategically placing some more foam dots underneath the leaves to provide some more dimension. And I especially love the shadows that it casts underneath the leaves that have the centers cut out of them. It's really pretty. So I had already scrapbooked a few photos from my dad's birthday, and I really didn't have much more to say about the event. I had already given the who, what, where, when, why, and so I just wanted to make this layout a little different. So I ended up using it as an opportunity to describe a personality trait of mine. Why not? So originally for my journaling, I printed it out and I cut it into strips. I've seen a lot of YouTubers do this recently, and I wanted to try it. I like the way that it looks, but um, I just felt like the white paper was too much of a contrast with the wood grain, and then the branding strip at the bottom isn't a true white like the printer paper is. So it looks great for the video's sake, but I knew that that wasn't being true to myself, and I was gonna have to look at this layout, for who knows how long. So I went back and forth and was trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to handwrite it on there or just leave it printed out. And you see me go back and forth here a few times, but I do end up writing it out. I think my biggest fear was if I had messed something up or if I wrote crooked, then I wasn't going to be able to do it again because I only had this one sheet of background paper. So I just took a deep breath and went for it. And it did end up a little crooked, but it's not that noticeable, and I'm fine with it. So my journaling simply says, well, the title is Priorities, and then the journaling says, yep, I've got 'em. I'm the one that coaxes everyone from their chair, plate, nap, or conversation to take a group photo. Aunt Linda took these pictures of us during Dad's 60th birthday party. They indulged me and shuffled out to the backyard, but I have a feeling that they didn't mind after all when they say, hey, send that to me. So then I decide to take while I was preparing my date stamp there, I decided that I wanted to take the roller phrase stamp from the documentary collection also, and I wanted to stamp, underneath the journaling. And so I practiced a few times there on my little notebook, but somehow it ended up crooked and smeared a little bit, and I just can't win with those things, but I'm not going to give up. So I just left it, and then I went ahead and stamped the date with my Beautiful Mess roller date stamp. And then I knew I wanted to keep that leaf at the bottom. It was one of my favorites that I had cut, just the size and shape and pattern on the leaf. I wanted to kind of feature down at the bottom. So I cut my foam dots in half, and I went ahead and popped that up underneath the journaling. And then to bring in some more of that gold from the gold foil title, I decided to get the Heidi Swapp Gold Color Shine, and then I just I dripped that along the bottom, and then I also splattered it across the top of the layout. And I wanted to be sure to get some of the gold on the actual leaves. I thought it was really pretty when Vilna did it, and I wanted to replicate it. So that's my layout. Here's a look at the finished page and a few close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching and for your sweet comments and for liking and subscribing. I really appreciate it. And I love sharing these layouts with you. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.